Welcome everybody, welcome back to Vinland Saga episode 3. I had to think there for just a split second. Yeah, we're back with Vinland episode 3, and if you notice that I'm a little bit down today, or I'm not paying quite as much attention as I would like to, it's been kind of a rough day. I had some bad news and I have some stressful stuff going on right now in my life, a lot of just stuff that I have to do and a lot of pressure and whatnot, so do take it easy on me. But I think we should be ready and able to pay attention and to go into this episode 3, which could be a big one, right? Episodes 3s are always kind of a little bit big when it comes to trying to see, is this series something for me, or do I even want to keep watching this? Don't worry. I personally am watching it, but I'm just saying, when you watch something on your own, 3 or 4 episodes is off, that's kind of the mark where you decide if this is going to be a series that could potentially be a GOAT, or if this is a series that's all right, it's entertaining, maybe I'll keep watching it kinda, or if it's something that you don't even jive with really, so you would drop it at that point or put it on pause or whatever, like I did with Bakemonogatari Kekdabli. I did it once, right? Actually, I did it once, right in the beginning when I was I think Nadeko Snake was what kind of made me drop attention way back when I watched it for the first time, and then later on through some encouragement from a couple of people, I don't even remember who exactly it was anymore, it was a bunch of people on Flaming Shark's Discord server. At some point they were, come on dude, you gotta watch it, it's great. And I started it again, and the episode right after Nadeko Snake, I'm not gonna go into details, but the episode right after Nadeko Snake is one of my favorite episodes to date of the early Monogatari series in general, but also just of the Monogatari series as a whole. So there's that. Also, if you do notice that my voice is a little bit creaking and cranky and maybe I'm having a rough time speaking, it is because the past week over I have been pretty sick. So it started Wednesday with my throat hurting a lot, and then Wednesday night, Thursday, I literally developed a fever for most of the night and had it coming back every once in a while during the day. The fever broke, but the crankiness of the throat and whatever, right? It feels like I'm parched constantly and there's sawdust in my throat or whatever. That's how it feels, and it's better now. It's improved a lot, but it's still very grating, and I do still feel it. I still have a sniffly nose, and occasionally it's just gonna close down. So I would like to ask you to bear with me. This is probably also the only series and the only episode I am going to watch today, but I thought, let's get in some Vinland, then we can maybe release episode 1 on YouTube very, very soon, and as soon as we get episode 3 up on Patreon. And hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more luck. We'll have a little bit more of time. I don't know about time, but all I need really is one good day, to be honest, or 2 good days to really lock in and focus down. Because normally that is all I need to kind of just do a good recording session and whatnot. And everything else is editing, and that's but that's half the work already done. So that there's that. And next week, it's not going to be easier because I do have a couple of presentations that are going to come up early June, so I do have to work towards them. So 3 that I actually have to make my way towards, and they are pretty hefty in terms of the material that we have to use and whatnot, and I want to do it right, and I want to do it good, because this is one of my last kind of things that I'm doing within my degree. And hopefully until then, I do have maybe good news regarding an internship, because that is the very last thing that I need before I can apply for the master's, and the application windows are gonna close pretty soon. So I do hope that I can have that that security of knowing that it's gonna be fine, right? We have our schedule ahead of ours. It's gonna be rough, but it's gonna work. But sometimes stuff is messy. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work out the way you want it to work out. And I do fear that that is also what we're going into with Vinland Saga, because Thor's, he didn't like that, right? That Floki showed up and was like, "Sup, dude? I know you're alive. You better come and fight, otherwise," right? But the problem I do see with that is the way the villagers all excited about going to war and sending their young, their young men to go with Thor's. They're all gonna die, right? So this is like a loss anyway for Thor's. It's not like I sacrifice myself and nobody else, but rather I sacrifice the potential, like part of the potential future of the village, which is rough, really rough. But let's see how it goes, how the horrors of war treat these youngsters who have no idea what they're in for, really. Like, that the amount of like stress and adrenaline and blood and pain and trauma that is gonna come their way, especially when it comes to full-on combat in war and whatnot. This is not sparring, this is not a competition, this is serious life or death stuff. So let's see how it goes. I got Vinland Saga episode 3 set up and ready to go right here. You are gonna see the beep beep, the little beep beep timer. Well, you'll see it here right now, but you'll also see a small one right after I skip the OP. And this, well, not on Patreon, but but here on YouTube, right? I'm always talking to you as if I'm talking to YouTube, because the Patreon people get it special. They do have the OPs, they do have some other stuff, but yeah. Beep beep timer after the OP. This is the best way to sync up without having to resync, because I'm skipping parts of the OP due to copyright reasons and for other like technicalities, because sometimes you don't talk during the OP. That's also a thing. But yeah. Let's get started with these glyphs of, I don't know, either England or Iceland. It could be both of that, because I've been to Ireland, I think like 10 years ago now, and it kind of looks like that too, right? It's beautiful, it's beautiful. I can only recommend it. Like the UK, especially Ireland, is a really, really nice country from like, just like a nature and landscape kind of point of view as well. Culture, I mean, if you like parties, there's Dublin has like a party night, like a city life there, so there's that. You do have various colleges as well that are very popular, such as a couple of them like in Scotland and Glasgow, for example, or you do have Dublin, like I said, or you go to like London, England, or whatever. But yeah, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. Troll. I don't know what troll. Oh, I mean, that's the title guy, right? Right. Yeah, that's a mercenary deal, right? It's just him that he wants. Troll of Yom. As early as 15 years ago. Yeah, what about that? He needs him. Oh, there's more to that, and he knows. He's clever. He might be doing like
にそんな舐めた口を聞くと大きく出たな。
ありゃ、すんません。すっぽ抜けちゃって。お怪我ないっすか？
おいおい、気をつけろよ。俺に当たるとこだったぞ、君たち。どうへたくそ、伸びすぎだぜ、ビョルン。前金で金5ポンド追加。ってことでよろしいかな。
いいだろう。
And he knows how
男前だな。
to make an argument.
ああ、そうそう。トールズってのはどんな戦士なんですかね。見た目とか戦い方とか。
トールズはすでに戦士ではない。
I mean, it's not wrong, right? He hasn't fought in a long time.
お仕事の時間だぜ、野郎ども。ビョルン、いいやりだったぜ。
朝飯前よ。
さすがの不老機の旦那も面食らってたよ。
そいつは見たかったな。
Oh, holy shit. He had somebody behind there. Yeah, he's a fox, right? If people like Thors or Floki are wolves or, I don't know, gorillas or something like strong and like upfront, then he's a fox, right? He's like, he's clever, but he's doing it behind the scenes kind of deal. And that can help you a lot, right? If you pretending you're not as smart as you actually are can put your enemy at a disadvantage because they underestimate you. And I think he's like, my first impression, he's using that a lot, right? He's like the thief type. The mercenary is something along those lines as well, but I don't know why, but this OP reminds me a little bit of Osama ranking, the second OP, I think. Crazy shit. I can't wait to meet some of these people. I love the craftsmanship of like some of the long ships. Really cool.
わかってる。何も言うな。もちろん楽な旅ではないだろう。さすがの俺も戦場で敵図を追わないという保証はない。
Is this gonna be like a proposal or something?
イングランドでぶんどってきた首飾りをプレゼントするよ。ねえ、そしたら私まだ眠いんだけど。
あれ、お弁当忘れてる。母ちゃん、あんたはもうどうしてそうそそっかしいのかね。ニシンの塩漬けはみんなにも分けなさいね。たくさん入れといたから。あっち行ってろよ、母ちゃん。あんた、母親に向かって。
続きは帰ってから話すよ。待っててな、ユルバ。
She stayed up for him.
ああ、今日出航か。死ななきゃいいけどね。
ユルバ、ちょっといいかな。
待てよ、俺が先だ。
Oh, they all want to do it. Holy shit. She's like, can you please stop? It's too much. There's other women in the village.
その斧にかけて大樽いっぱいの金貨を持ち帰るぜ。張り切っとるな、若衆たち。
They don't know what's coming.
トールズが5人でいいと言うとるんじゃ。まあ奴がそういうんじゃ仕方ないな。しかしの、やっとこう船を動かせるギリギリの人数じゃ。そこはほれ、あの人のことだ。何か考えがあるんだろう。おいこら、てめえさっきユルバと何話してた？
黙れタコ。てめえこそあの子に構うんじゃねえぞ。
戦場じゃ背中に気をつけろよ。
なめんな、そりゃこっちのセリフだぞ。あれ。ああ。
気をつけてね。
ああ。
住んでねえぞこら。んだとこら。先行くんじゃねえよ。
お嬢ちゃん。あれが心配かね。ならいいこと教えてあげようか。
戦場に行かないの？
Wait, what?
内緒内緒。ヨムスボルグに行く途中、一度ノルウェーによる。トールスのやつ、若造どもをそこへ置いてけぼりにするつもりだ。
Ooh, okay. Clever, clever.
ノルウェーの船乗りの助けを借りてヨムスボルグへ向かう。わしは先代のノルウェー王とは友達でな。
With the previous king.
で、わしの商売が済み次第、若造どもを連れて帰る。5人ちゅうのは、わしのボロ船で連れ帰れる限度に過ぎん。あいつは誰一人戦場へ連れて行かんよ。トールズとはそういう男だ。
Yes, it is. It fits very well.
トルフィン、おい、どこだ？トルフィン。
I'm afraid that what I said last time is true.
それじゃあトールズさんは一人で戦場へ行くの？
I think he might know that this is just all a plan to get him dead for whatever reason, right? Whatever Floki has been planning. I'm sorry, what?
トルフィンのやつ、父上のお見送りもしないなんて。昨日怒られたの根に持ってんだわ、あいつ。
Nobody suspects anything.
はい。
トルフィンに伝えてくれ。つまり。
はい、伝えておきます。
Nah, she knows.
頼む。
I do wonder if he's like got something in mind, right? The plan, like if he's not like going into certain death, but rather he's like, I got something cooking. Shit. The lads are flabbergasted. They know that it could be dangerous. What a nice day to sail. Look at the sun. Must be beaming down at this point with almost no shelter from it.
手の皮がベロベロだ。尻が。おい、しっかりしろ。
あれ、舵を取れ。モードとマグには反巨策の調節、ハーコンとグリムは横工作だ。疲れたか？
なんの。
安心しろ。
Stubborn.
もう当分は漕がなくていい。潮流に乗ったからあとは勝手に進むよ。
それでもう引き返せないってこと、父上。
まあそうだな。
I knew it. Oh, he's gotta be... Holy shit, Thorfinn, what the fuck? You're gonna get smacked. But first... Yeah... I... Ooh, okay, interesting. Okay, okay.
それがどうしたよ。殺して金もらうことに変わりはねえだろ。
奴が自分の部下を使わないのはなぜだと思う？
命令違反の汚れ仕事だからじゃねえの。
まあな、それもあるだろうが、損害を恐れているんだとしたら、それも狩猟に言い訳がきかねえほどの大損害だ。
Ooh,
業務戦士団一個正代がか
because Thor's might be this strong.
バカ。
He's clever.
ほら降りてこいワンガキ。
Oh,
拝んでみたくなったぜ、ヨウムのトロル。少しは楽しめる男だと嬉しいね。
that's a good moment. Alright, let's get back into it. I mean, as I was saying, or as I was not saying in that moment, it is something very, very unique to see like that light in a kid's eyes when they are fascinated and in awe of something. I think that is what Thor's laughed at for a second, where he just wasn't able to be angry with Thorfinn because he was like, that's his dream, right? Like the sea and all of these stories of old, right? There's this power behind that, this reverence with which he treats that. And you see that a lot in children, right? The reverence with which they treat the world around them. That is so much bigger than them. And if you think back maybe a little bit, and if you can think back a little bit, when you were a child, how big the world seemed, right? How grand and grandiose and incomprehensible concepts seemed that today are a natural part of your life, right? A natural part of your understanding of what's happening, and the magnitude of difference that your perceptions of certain things and objects and events and places are as compared to when you were a child. There's something really fascinating about seeing that, right, in children. This eagerness, this life. But yeah. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, Leif has a ship as well, that's right.
星も見えない、なんにも見えない。一体どっちに向かってんだ？
トールズ、風が少し変わった。ちょい右だ。先行する。ついてきてくれ。
わかった。
He knows. Leif, right? Like, that's his name, Leif Erikson.
はあ、すげえな。レイフさんはどうしてこんな海を迷わず進めるんだ？
Probably been a sailor since he was young.
あれ。あまり夜の海を見つめるな。引きずり込まれるぞ。
As if it has magic power.
ねえ、トールズさん。戦場ってどんなところなんすか？トールズさんはあちこちで戦ってきたんでしょ？手柄話聞かせてくださいよ。俺も一発大将首取って男になりてんだ。
なるほどな。確かにうちの娘は強い男が好みだ。大変だな、お前も。
いや、まあ、参ったな。お見通しですか。
ユルバが好きか、あれ。
いやー、好みっすね。かわいいっす。
あいつは俺がまだヨウムの軍団にいた頃に生まれた子。
Okay.
俺の初めての子なんだ。
So, Helga was with him back then as well. He doesn't. He has no idea.
こんなに泣くもんなのか。
トールズ様、そのような持ち方をされて首を支えて。
Her neck is gonna break.
次は男を産め、ヘルガ。狩猟はオノコをお望みだ。妻のヘルガは軍団の狩猟の娘なんだ。難産の後で病人のような顔色だった。
トールズ、名前をつけてあげて。
適当につけておけ。俺は忙しい。 これからノルウェー遠征だ。
トールズ殿、船が出ます。
お、今行く。
Too much of a man of duty.
この子に名前を。
その後15年一緒にいるが、ヘルガが怒ったのはその時だけだ。ユルバという名は俺の母の名だ。とっさに浮かんだ。今思えば、あの時からだ。俺はすっかり戦場が怖くなっちまった。
Ooh. Not even the birth itself, but giving her a name.
昔を知る
I love this music, by the way.
俺を罵るだろうな。
The Faroe Islands, let's see it. Holy shit, that's a lot of birds.
Oh. ここはフェロー諸島、アイスランドとノルウェーの真ん中だ。ここで一休みすると旅が楽になる。この先の入り江に村があるんだ。そこで飲み水を補給しよう。商売もできるぜ。へえ。
つうかお前、イングランドまでついてくるつもりか？
改装準備。
He just like, yes. There's no hesitation, there's no like... Something's not right yet.
さて、何がだろう。だが、前に来た時とは何かが。
Ooh, he notices. Mm-hmm.
そうか、家の数だ。家の数が減っている。
引き返そう、レイフさん。良くない気配がする。地形も悪い。
マジですか。おい、あいつら逆走してるぞ。気づいたか。へえ、やるの。慎重だな。手強いかもしれねえぞ。
近すぎるが仕方ねえ。多少船が傷ついても構わん。やれ。
They do it anyway. Shit. And now we're in the midst of it.
Yo, 少女。奴ら袋のネズミだ。
トールズ、みんな大丈夫か？
全員無事か？
はい。なんとか。
矢が来るぞ。盾で頭を隠せ。レイフさん、そっちの被害は？
大丈夫だ。船も人もなんともない。
I mean, as of now, we still assume it's like an ambush of like
来るぞ。この罠の
some kind of unknown enemy.
家の奥だ。
奥。
I don't know if they're pirates, right? But maybe if he's saying that.
家の柱か。なんてこった、完全に塞がれてる。やられた。降参すれば助かるんじゃないか。わかんねえよ。
助かるわけねえだろ。捕まりゃ奴隷市場で売られるだけだ。腹をくくれ。 どうってことねえよ。
Bro is shaking.
よせあれ。奴らは手だれだ。農民が夏場の出稼ぎでやってる海賊とはわけが違う。お前の叶う相手じゃない。
父上。
トールズさん。
He's giving it to him. Yeah.
身を守るためだけに使え。いいな。いざという時だけだぞ。
やっぱやるんすか。やるんすね。
Easy, my dude.
よーし、やるぞ。
簡単にやるなんて言うな。
おビョルン、あんたそのキノコ。
ふうふうみ11、12とガキが1匹。なんでそれっぽっちかよ。おいアシュロット。んあれ俺に任せてくんねえか。あれっぱかしに全員でかかっちゃ面白くねえ。ヨウムのトルルってのがどんなもんか俺が試してやるよ。
いいだろう。向こうもその気みたいだしね。
Onto the other ship, holy shit. Yeah, they're the first ones to die. Oh, non-lethal. Bro just hands to hands them. Oh no, you don't end here. What do you mean? What do you... How do we get out of this one? How do we get out of this one? Very cool and interesting that a lot of the ED is just the first couple of episodes in terms of the scenes. Stylized. Stormy like the waves. Like his heart. There's so much good visual metaphor in this one. Yeah, that's it. That's about it. Alright, that was Vinland Saga episode 3. Let's wind it back, and yeah, there's a couple of things we can say. Due to my unique condition, and because I gotta go to work tomorrow, we are not going to talk too long about it, but you know how I am. I need to talk about it. Well, but so let's do that. So Askeladd is a very clever dude, right? He's still gonna do it because he's a mercenary, and he's just gonna, right? He's getting money for it, so he's gonna do the deed. But the way I see it, he's the type of person who by doing the deed, he constantly looks for an opportunity to find something that he can use against Floki, or at least to his advantage down the line. Be that against people of Floki, is like the Yom's soldiers, whatever, right? The warriors of Yom. Or be that against somebody else, or to his general advantage, right? He is the type of guy who is playing a little bit dumb, playing a little bit rowdy, but constantly thinking in the back end. He is prepared for a lot of stuff. Right? He was prepared for the man behind the curtain who would have jumped out and threatened him at knife point. Kind of very barbaric if you think about it on Floki's part, right? Floki being like, if he doesn't agree, or if he wants to haggle the price up, we're just gonna threaten his life, and that's how we're gonna get out of it. That's pretty brutish, to be honest, right? It's not strategic. It's not thinking about things thoroughly, because if he would, he might have foreseen that Askeladd here, right? That's still a little bit hard to say the name. He knows what to do, right? He knows how to prepare. He knows how to judge his opponent as well. Doesn't matter doesn't matter how distracted he looks, how chill he looks. On the inside, he is sharp, right? He knows what the situation is, and he's shrewd, and he knows how to turn a situation to his advantage. I do wonder if he's unscrupulous enough to kill a child, right? In the case of Thorfinn, how does Thorfinn get out of this, right? Because we know that some of them are probably gonna die. Maybe even Thors is gonna die, but we don't know, right? It's possible that they escape and kind of make it somewhere, and maybe Thors is like, hey, I know somebody I can get you to, and then I'm gonna die from my wounds or something, or I'm gonna face them and alone or whatever, right? But I don't know how we're gonna get out of this. The only thing I was thinking about is possibly diving, right? But even then, all of the stuff that fell down was pretty heavy wooden beams, so parts of those will probably be on the ground of the cove. So chances are you can't even swim underneath, and if you go to land, you would just meet with the rest of his of Askeladd's people. Also very the cinematography is amazing on that, right? The top-down shot with him, the feet very chill on the table, right? Disrespect, and shows that he has all the cards, and Floki's like, you think you have all the cards? But yes, he does. He does. Right? Even the boy on the outside, Björn, who is seemingly celebrating, suddenly shoots a spear right past them into the guy. Right? This would have been a signal to be threaten him, but then bam. And I thought what was that, right? Because we didn't know the guy was behind the curtain. So my first thought was either it was one of Floki's guys who did that. But then I suddenly was like, no, this guy looks like one of Askeladd's dudes. I was like, maybe it was a distraction, right? To break the tension. To show that his men are watching out for him. And that's true, that was kind of that. But it was in a way more intense way than I thought. Right? The shadow work, right? How the shadow is on his back and he's looking towards the light, towards the door, and then he's looking back and half his face is in, or 2/3 of his face are in shadow and just one eye is in the light, almost that gives him a very distinct look here. A very malicious, not malicious, but very shrewd, I know what you're doing kind of look, right? I'm smarter than you. And suddenly he's the goofball again, because this is his charade. He's a face, right? If you go by D&D logic, he's a face. He's the kind of person who can manipulate you by letting you drop your guard, by making you underestimate him. All of these things. And he wants to know what Thor's is in terms of like warriors. If he is, and he's like, he's no warrior anymore. But he realized, like, look at that. That's a very suspicious look. He's like, I ain't buying it, man. There is something that you're hiding from me. And what he suspects, what we later on hear from his mouth is, this guy might be really strong and might be able to fuck up a lot of those warriors of Yom if they would be going against him on their own, and that would mean that they would come back to their commander or to their king, and he would be like, wait, what happened? Like, 8 of you died. What happened? And he would find out that they took revenge on their own. So there is, like, I do assume that maybe the invitation of Denmark for Thor's to join the war, to join the conflict, was a real one. And they wanted to get him back into their ranks as a hero. And they trusted Floki to do that because Floki might have the negotiation skills and the means to actually do it. In this case, kind of subtly, or not so subtly, threaten the village and rope him into it. But Floki is like, nah, this guy, he's a traitor. He for the streets. And that's why he, like, I mean, I guess either that or there's some even more personal beef between the two of them that we don't know yet. But either way, he wants him dead. Right? He doesn't care about anything else. He wants him dead specifically. Doors to nowhere. And she is like literally, like everybody in the village, every boy in the village is like, I'm gonna marry her one day. She's like, on the one hand, she's like, bro. But I think like for him, because we specifically show him as separate from the others, I do feel like he might be the one where she's like, yeah, he's kind of an idiot, but I kind of like him, right? As opposed to the other ones. It's also like Thor's talking to him about it reinforces that idea, because Thor's wouldn't bring it up if he wouldn't think that there could be something between the two of them. Be that because Thor thinks he might be the right person for Ylva, or be that because Thor's noticed something in her behavior that shows, like, that kind of indicates that she's most favorable to him. And she actually got out of bed for him, right? Like, and paid attention, even though she's like being like cranky, like, can I go back to sleep and whatnot. Alright, we have the very slight blush. Can I go back to sleep? And that's kind of a little bit embarrassment thing. He's more embarrassed, obviously, but... And then the mom comes, of course the mom comes. It's like, this is so, like, that is well done humor, right? Yeah, specifically sometimes, like, it's so funny that that it's not in all families, but in some families, like the mom pushing, like, was that your girlfriend? Or like, oh, she's really nice, wouldn't you be like, right? Like trying to push that. And then like in the most inopportune moment, she comes in and ruins it all. Well, she doesn't ruin it, but like it's like kind of embarrasses you because you're a teenager and you're being embarrassed by your parents being like all like spoiling you and whatever and treating you like a little kid. Packed your lunch, the cheeks all full and whatnot. It's like, you're embarrassing me, Mom. I want to look cool in front of you. And she's like, oh wait, yeah. Serious time. They are actually going today. And then they're all coming up to her. Even the other guy running up, she's like, can you stop? Go somewhere else. And I was saying, like there's other, like, I mean, we talk about that as well, right? Warrior culture, we talked about it last time, like this whole thing about, like, I'll bring back some loot, right? To honor, like honor and, like, glory and whatever. It's like these childish ideas of whatnot. But even, like, the older people here who maybe possibly haven't even seen, like, a lot of conflict or have been out of it for so long that have only been in one skirmish or two and have been out of it for so long that they don't really have an idea of what's a lot of money these days, right? What's a lot of loot these days? What's like, can't imagine it as well. I mean, they're all grinning, they're all happy as well, which means that they're like, holy shit, our boys are going to war, which isn't the reaction they should be showing if they knew what war was really like. So I mean, then again, right? Valhalla, Norse legends, right? It's all built up to push people to actually seek that glory of battle. That's barely enough for sailing 2 ships. And I like talking to each other, and she is into who? Ari? Yeah, Ari. I think that the one on the right is Ari, right? Yeah. And Leif is revealing it. He's like, they ain't going to war. Thor's is not gonna do that. And her face lights up, right? She's like, she's worried about him. She was there. Maybe she thought they're gonna be a thing, possibly, right? But they only have eyes for Ylva, obviously, because she's the one who has like all the temperament and obviously the genes of her mother, the genes of her father, very pretty and all of that, right? She's pretty too, right? She's all right. I'm pretty sure, like, you could do something, right? Like, style her up a bit, and then she's very pretty, even next to Ylva. So, but that's the sad thing, right? You have certain, like, your perception is often limited to the thing that you immediately get drawn to, right? And then oftentimes you don't realize that somebody might be interested in you who's been right next to you for a long time, and then there's that, right? Eventually you'll notice, it's fine, right? Eventually you'll notice. Eventually one of you is gonna say something, or something's gonna happen, right? Don't wait for it to happen, right? If you're one of the people who's like, all right, I'm actually kind of into him, I'm actually kind of into her, right? Say something, right? Do something. Yeah, you could be shut down, but you'd rather be shut down slowly across 10 years or 5 years, or even like 3 years is enough. Or you'd rather be shut down now and know that she's not at all interested, or maybe be shut down initially and then after like a couple of weeks or a month or two, she comes to you and she's like, you know what? You're actually kind of a nice guy, and we kind of like, we vibe with one another. Like, how about we try? Right? I mean, that's also relationships. I've talked to people who had that kind of experience where it's like, you kind of spend time as friends for a couple of years, and not hoping that like one of them is like, oh yeah, I really want to be with her, but I'm gonna stay her friend, but more along the lines of like your friends and whatnot, and one of them notices at some point, and then it's like, hey, maybe I should say something, and it doesn't happen immediately, doesn't work immediately or whatever. Maybe one of you is in a relationship, whatever. But at some point in time, there comes the opportunity, there comes the moment, and then maybe it works, maybe it clicks, right? There's all kinds of love stories out there, so go find your person if you haven't found them already. And if you have found them, then do something, right? Alright, but he's comforting her here. Meanwhile, Thor's looking for Thorfinn. Oh, this is sad. This is so sad, because like, obviously we as the audience suspect that Thorfinn might be hiding somewhere, but the entire village is kind of oblivious to it. Even like his mother and his sister are like, alright, he's kind of like, he's mad again, whatever, right? But for Thor's, it's like, this might be the last time I'll see my son. Holy shit, right? And then he can't find him, and he has to go. And there's this moment where he's like, tell Thorfinn. And Helga is like looking at him, and he's like stumbling with his words, because that's what we saw in the first couple of episodes. He doesn't know how to interact with his children, right? He loves them a lot, he cares for them a lot. He doesn't know how to be a father, really, right? He's kind of the awkward dad. And her eyes are shining. She's like, I know, I'll tell. Without even having to say anything. Right, and we see later why that is so important. Also really cool with the row thing, and we show the drums, because the drums were a very important thing, even beyond like morale. back then, right? We had our drummers accompanying armies and whatnot for morale or whatever, right, with the rhythm. But the rhythm is the more important thing here, especially when it comes to rowing, because you have to be in sync, right, to row in a relatively clear direction and not just be super inefficient by just driving zigzag. But he's strong. He is massive, holy shit. The troll of Yomes. And both of them, right, that light in their eyes, but from a smile of goodbye to now they're gone, right? And we hope they'll come back, but we don't know. But especially for Helga, I don't know if she maybe even just suspects that he might not be coming back at all. And we'll see how green they really are. But just like not knowing how to withstand seasickness, that like, right, not being used to that, being absolutely KO from that bit of rowing. And Thorfinn is an absolute, I don't know, an absolute clown. Holy shit. Just jump. He's like, oh, does that mean we can't like go on land anymore? And then he jumps out. He's like, oh, I gotta go. Oh, Thorfinn. Oh shit. And then it's like the ocean, right? And when he wants to argue and be like, what are you doing here? He sees like the light shining in his eye and that big naive grin, and he can't be mad at it. It's like, yeah, this boy. We talk about, yeah. He got a thrashing, alright. I mean, look. Deserved, actually, deserved. Newsflash, this is not how you treat your children. It's like, it's not as effective as positive reinforcement, right? Like, there's easier methods to actually discipline somebody, right? Reward them for good behavior by giving them something they like, and that's not just like material things, but also just doing something with them, or, right, allowing certain privileges that they're not getting as often normally. Positive reinforcement is always better. And we do have that scene. You have that scene of like Helga, and he doesn't know. He knows even less what to do with a child. Just holds it like some kind of like shield or something. I was like, the neck is gonna break anytime, right? Because that's like, when you hold a baby, you need to hold the neck because it's still too weak to actually hold the weight of the head, which prematurely grows to the size that it's very hard to hold for the baby itself if it's not lying, or, right? So there is that. And he's like so uninterested. Like, but it's the first time she got mad. She was like, you name her. Right? Look at her. There's like somebody who can put her foot down and be like, listen to me, Thors. We've been together for a while now. You listen to me. You give her a name. And the moment he gave her a name, and maybe that's why he didn't want to do it. Maybe he wasn't like just an oath. Maybe, yes, he was an oath, but also he was afraid what would happen. Or it just caught him cold, right? It caught him completely cold. He gave her a name, and suddenly you give a name to something, so you humanize her, right? Like the child. Ylva in this case. You put it into words, which is sometimes quite different than just treating something from a distance. So you have a concept of something. Right? If you see objects in the distance right here, right? You like a mouse, right? But if I don't know the name of it, the concept of what I have of it in my mind is only visual, right? It's very vague. And suddenly I'm starting to analyze the structure. I'm starting to understand the pattern of how it looks generally when I see multiples of them. And suddenly I do have a term for it. I give it a specific term because it's a thing that I could be happening upon more often. And then we start to give it a name, mouse. And suddenly, right, connections start forming. Because it happens on multiple levels. And in addition to that, we do have a name. A name is something very special, right? It's tied to your identity. And in human socialized understanding, a name is something that you give to something important. That you give to something or someone who is or that you remember of somebody that is very central to your life. And this is how you start, right? How you start humanizing somebody. Like, think about some random, I don't know, kid halfway across the globe in a different country, in a different culture that you don't know. It's very vague, right? It's very easy to ignore suffering going on over there. But if you have a name to that, to one of the kids, right? If you have a name to them, if you have a face to them, if you have seen them, you've maybe even talked to them, you've heard their voice, you've seen them laugh. Suddenly, it starts seeping in. This is a human being. The mirror neurons start firing, right? The empathy machine starts turning. Not for everybody, right? There's people who just don't give a fuck, and that's very sad. This is how he explains it. This is the first time he really has been afraid. When he had his first child. Because he knows, I go into this battle and I lose. I'm not gonna be here, right? And my daughter or my son, they're gonna grow up without me. They're never gonna see me again. I'm never gonna be there for the important lessons. I'm never gonna be there to share the moments with them, to share emotions, to see them smile. So they see me smile, right? There's no warmth there, there's no connection, no legacy. All of it is gone the moment I step out of this life. And that is powerful. Sometimes it needs the things that are very important to us in life, and the people. And the people that would suffer if we weren't there to make us realize our own worth. Because in a way, right, like if you're the fearless warrior who doesn't fear death, there's Valhalla and all of these things, and you're kind of undervaluing the time you have on Earth here. And you kind of like underestimating how much value it has to be here in the moment and live and interact with people. And sometimes you don't realize that, right? You have people like Ari here, impressionable youngsters who you look up to you. That you don't even realize what an impact you not being there would have on them, right? And what an impact you being there has on them and will have on them in the future. But the closer it is to you, right? Sons, daughters, wife, the more it hits home. A starry night followed by another bright day. A lot of birds and a lot of like... Is he like brushing his teeth with a root? No, he's just like eating beef jerky. Okay, yeah, I was like, oh, no. Okay. So we do have, yeah, the Ferrer, yeah, they're up above, right? So there's like, this is like England, Anglaise, and we have like Ireland on the side over here. And further below, there's like all of these little Irish isles. And then we have Scandinavia, like Norway and Finland and Sweden over there on the other side, right? It's Norway, Finland, Sweden, I think. No, Norway, Sweden, Finland, right? That's how it is. Love all these little doodads and monsters and sea dragons and krakens and whatever that are on the card. Really cool way to illustrate that. And we see like Iceland has been colonized all around, right? Maybe that's one of Leif's in the maps. That's cool. that beautiful, right? Like the way the water reflects, and we have like this is how it really looks, and that's the beauty in these coasts, right? These like cliffs. And then he stops. He stops, he's like, something's different. I drove through this passage like countless times. I've memorized that like subconsciously. Something's different. This is where like an experienced seafarer or a person who is experienced with the territory really comes in handy, because he's like, something's wrong. A lot of these shots are really cool. Also, like looking up, you don't see anything, right? Like with the shadow of the sun, they have like the overview, and then they drop everything behind them so they can't get out, almost crashing into it. And obviously Thor's, the first idea he has, like, run towards Thorfinn and protect him. Of course. I do wonder what's going through his mind right now, as he knows that they have kind of stepped into a trap, and they might be threatened or die or whatever, right? What's running through his head, with the fact in mind that he has all of these youngsters behind him, and that he has Thorfinn as well. Perfect shot, like the lighting. Yeah, really cool. And he makes a heavy-handed decision. He's like, here, you need a weapon, but only use it if you absolutely have to. Serious look. Turn around. Protect in time, right? Time to be strong, time to do it. Time to calm down Ari, who is freaking out, right? And he's saying stuff like, I kill them all, by just like shaking on the inside. He's so nervous. So Thor's is gonna be proactive. He's gonna go in, but he's non-lethal. So he hopes he can still talk his way out of it. He hopes he can still come to an agreement, right? Knock a lot of them down, be like, you're no match for us. Let's go. I do hope this is all they got, but I don't think so. Askeladd is clever, right? We've seen that in the first scene that we've seen him in. Also, really, really rad sword, by the way. But yeah, Askeladd is clever. He has a backup plan, I'm pretty sure. Ah, and that's a nasty cliffhanger. That is a nasty cliffhanger. That was Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 3. I am really happy I got to record this. It's been a little bit shorter with like the discussion, I think. But we're gonna be back next time, and maybe we have more to talk about, right? Animation could be fire. And maybe emotional themes. Who's gonna die? Who's gonna survive? Where are they gonna end up? What is Askeladd gonna do? I can't wait to see it. If you do like my content, you know where to subscribe, you know where to like. Do that. Join my Discord if you want to. Check out my Patreon if you like to. And I'll see you next time. Big shout out. Big shout out to Flaming Shark and Nathan Singh for supporting me so much. And also for Cardboard for continuously being here and supporting. See you next time.